Hey guys, I'm with Darien Orr today from Ebby Halliday here in Denton, and I really want you guys to listen in to our video that we're talking about today on the local community here in Denton, Texas. Hey guys, this is Matt Kern, and I have with me today Darien Orr. She's with Ebby Halliday here in Denton. She's a local Dentonite that's been around. How long have you been around now in Denton?
Oh my goodness, I've been here 40 years now.
Is that right? That's awesome.
Yes,
Well, we're sure glad to have you on with us today. And this is a spotlight about Darien and what she's doing in her local community, what she's been up to, and then also what she does in the real estate community. And she's very well known in the local DFW area here. She's embedded in the real estate market, and she's got some great information to share today. So if you don't mind, would you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Now that we know that you've been in the Denton area 40 years, you've definitely seen a lot of changes, but let us know, what you're up to now and what you've seen change over the last 40 years.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously, it's obvious to anyone who's been in Denton for the last 40 years, things have changed a lot. When I came here, honestly, downtown Denton was really headed downhill. There was not much activity there. The universities had good reputations, but the town wasn't known for its vitality. And I would say what has changed is that now people have been coming to Denton. We have been growing and growing. And I feel like even though we're growing geographically, also our roots have just been deepening. There's more and more going on in Denton all the time that is attracting people to Denton. There is richer, cultural opportunities. Of course, the music scene that's always been incredible, and more people are becoming aware of that. Our history. We're just a very dynamic and rich city now. And of course, now the downtown square, some people complain because they might have to loop around a couple of times to find a parking place. But personally, I feel like, yay, if a community, if a city is going to have a problem, this is the one we want. We want growth and vitality, and so many communities in Texas are sort of withering away, but ours is just getting stronger and stronger.
It really is. Yes, ma'am.
It is.
Do you remember seeing the pictures, Darien, of the downtown square area back in the 40s and 50s, and definitely in the 50s, and how busy the square was? It was always on the weekend. That's where everybody came to shop. They came to, eat and do other things there for their families. They came to town, to do whatever they needed to do for the weekend. But the parking lots were full. I have a picture on my wall of the local area there, even where the old campus theater and the other theater was there on the square. And just cars are lined up. And it's great to see that again.
It is. And actually, my husband grew up here. His grandfather was the sheriff of Denton in 1912.
Wow.
And his grandmother cooked for the prisoners in the jail that had joined their home.
Well, I'll bet.
And they raved about her cooking. Some escaped one time, but they didn't hurt her. They were found hiding under the sheriff's bed. But they said, we would never hurt Mrs. Orr. She was such a great cook.
Right.
But anyway, so my husband was here and growing up, and yes, those theaters in the square, coming down here, coming to downtown Denton was the place to be. And so it is exciting to see it coming back. And I'm prejudiced, but we do have one of the most beautiful courthouses, but also we have the lawn that surrounds it that allows us to have so many great events. Like Twilight Tunes and the festivals and the things that we have going on. Some other cities in Texas, they have beautiful courthouses, but they don't have the lawn around them, like McKinney. My brother visited from McKinney last weekend, and it was a beautiful day in Denton, and all sorts of people were picnicking on the courthouse lawn. And he said, oh, I wish we had this in Denton, in McKinney. And I said, yeah, it's because we have this lawn.
Yeah.
And anyway, we're very fortunate here. And then we're also very fortunate, the committed people here in Denton, who the volunteers and elected officials have done an outstanding job, really contributing to keeping Denton vital and increasing it. I mean, it's just, I don't see any limit. We're going to grow geographically, but we're always going to have that core central Denton, and it's just getting deeper and richer all the time, which is why people love to live here.
Yes, and you're right. We need to give a shout out to all the committees that work so hard every year, and especially this last year. Everybody's trying to do something through all this COVID time and weren't able to, get a lot of things accomplished, but they're still always meeting. They're still always planning for the future. And I just want to give a shout out and say thank you to all of you guys for doing that. So tell us about your real estate business and tell us about your experience in that. When did you start in real estate?
Well, I started originally as a nonprofit realtor, I like to say. I've always loved buildings and homes.
Okay.
And even as far back as, I guess, 25 years ago now, my father was interested in moving to Denton, and I found there was a home. I knew somebody, had it for sale and told him about it. They ended up buying it. They moved here. And then next thing you know, there's a building on the square for sale that was one, I loved the square. Actually, my husband and I got married in the courthouse and the rotunda. And so this building was for sale, and this was the mid 90s. And I suggested to my dad, you should, this is a great building.
Yeah.
And he bought it, and it's Beth Marie's. It's where Beth Marie's, he is one of the owners of Beth Marie's, and it's where Beth Marie's is.
Okay.
And so just sort of going forward, I just kind of continued in that way. When I would see a property, I just sort of could connect the pieces and match people and places up. Mm-hmm. And so then about 4 or 5 years ago, I was working at the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau, and my boss, Kim Phillips, she and her husband were looking for a home in Denton, couldn't find one. And I said, I will find you a house. I was committed to it.
A woman on a mission.
Yes. And I worked my network. And that's what, one of the advantages, especially to marrying into a longtime Denton family. I have a good network.
Yeah.
And so sure enough, I thought of somebody who I knew was building a house, and visited with them and about, their plans, and they were going to be selling their house because the market was already starting to get crazy then. Not like it is now, but still it was hard to find a good home. And anyway, so I put those two in touch with each other, and then my friend who was building a house, and it was a perfect match. Kim and her husband loved the house and bought it. And actually, just this last year, she decided, because of family reasons, she needed to move, and I had the privilege of then selling that house to some other owners. Awesome. Now that I am a realtor. But anyway, so after that happened with Kim, I thought, I really like real estate and I'm good at it. Maybe I should take some classes and see if I really like the nuts and bolts of it. Mm-hmm. And I did. I enjoy the nuts and bolts of it and the research. There's a lot of research involved in good real estate.
Yeah.
And good realtor.
I wanted to ask you about that. And that's a great segue into that, Darien, is tell us about what your daily routines are when you're working real estate, and the research and the studying that you do for your clients, and what turns out from that. What do you get in your return of your investment of your time and efforts from that?
Okay. Well, my average day, I get up, And the first thing I do at my computer is to log on to the MLS to look at any new listings that might have come up since probably, I don't know, 7 p.m. the night before, the last
Okay.
time I was on MLS.
Okay.
And I look at new listings and coming soons and price reductions, all of those, to see if there's anything that might be a match for somebody I know, because it is crucial, especially in this market, to be one of the first or the first to see a property.
Mhm.
It's so competitive. If you wait 3 or 4 hours to make contact with that realtor, even if you can't see it, if I and the clients can't even see it in the next 3 or 4 hours, if I can just contact that listing agent and let them know this looks like it could be a great fit and we really want to see it, and that my clients are ready to go. And so I schedule showings absolutely as quickly as possible, because that is just crucial
Yeah, it is.
these days.
Yes.
And it makes an impression also on the seller
Mhm.
when you're the first person to see it. And if we make an offer, if we're the
Mhm.
first offer they receive. So do that. I try to be, the first or among the very first to see a listing. And then, because I am constantly keeping up with what's going on, I can evaluate the pricing of that property. If it's something we need to go ahead, it would be wise if my client really likes it, that they need to make an offer immediately if they want to get it.
That's for
Or
sure.
if it's overpriced, addressing that, or underpriced, which is the ideal situation and actually has come up surprisingly frequently, because I think there's out of town realtors who don't really realize what's happening in Denton.
Mhm.
But sometimes there'll be a property and you realize it's worth more than that in our market today.
Yeah.
And so you can have the first offer, I can have their offer in as the first offer, an appropriate offer, either on the money or even higher if my numbers, and I'm big on numbers. Doing comparative market analysis is sort of my hobby. And I really love to look at the numbers and see if this property is priced appropriately. But anyway, if it is, and we put in offers or put in an offer, I've had great success. 100% of my buyers this past year in this highly competitive market in multiple offer situations, because even if you get your offer in first, there might be one that follows quickly on its heels on these good properties.
Yes.
We've gone under contract and they've been able to purchase them. And so that's something I'm really adamant about offering is I will stay on top of the possibilities for my client. Because I know back when I was a hobbyist realtor, sometimes people would have to contact their realtor to say, hey, this listing just came up that we would like to see. And my goal and what usually happens, I see these things immediately and let my client know so we can get in there and see him and get in an offer before it's too late.
Yeah.
But a fair offer. I don't believe in
Right.
overpaying.
Yeah. Well, all this overpaying that's going on is only going to hurt the market, and it's going to hurt the appraisals. And you might not feel it this year, but we're going to feel it in the years to come because of all the overpayment, goes. But we're also seeing that property values are just skyrocketing right now. It's unbelievable.
Really
I heard somebody speaking today, and they thought that they had seen that in some areas in the North Texas area, it was up 18% just the first part of the year.
I had not heard that.
Yeah, so it's a lot, and that's something that we have to deal with. We're in a popular area. DFW is a great place to live. Denton, is a great place to live. It's a great place to raise your kids. We have really good colleges here and a lot of great people like yourself in this area that have been around a long time. And you know what you're really doing is you're really helping your client be educated in making that decision, you know, whether they want to purchase that one or not. And what I wanted to ask you this is, you know, the first offer that you make on a house, and y'all might have to go look at several houses. Do you think that most of the time the first offer, as long as they accept it, it's the one that they're always going to buy? It's not going to be the second or third one down the road unless they lose the first one. It's usually the first house they look at. That's going to probably be it. It's almost like buying a car or going to the car dealership. It's that first dealer that you go to, you're probably going to go back and buy it from them anyway if you don't buy it right away. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
Well, I want to tell you, I appreciate you so much really sharing with us today. That was really good quality information. Tell our viewers today, what's the best way to contact you and when can we contact you?
Okay. The best way to contact me, honestly, is on my cell phone number, which is 940-231-5204, or by texting to that same number.
Okay.
But I will be honest, my phone sleeps in another room than my husband and I. So
that's a good thing.
Okay, I just had to because it was too tempting to glance at it at 2 a.m.
It is, yes, ma'am.
It's not doing anybody the best service to do that. So, I'd say after about 10 p.m. But 10 p.m. I might not see or hear a message until the morning. But then I'm up early, usually by 8, looking at my messages, looking at my emails, and of course also emailing me at Darien Orr. It's DARIENORR at Ebby, EBBY.com. Of course, that's also a great way to get in touch with me.
Yeah. And y'all are right there off the highway of I-35 and William Miller. So you can't miss it. They're right behind the Chili's and the new Amy's Donuts over there too. Yeah, you got the new Amy's Donuts over there.
We've got a new donut shop that is drive-through 24 hours a day.
Yeah, isn't that great? Yeah, that's dangerous for all of us.
Is it great? It's like it's a blessing and a curse.
It is. Yes, ma'am. It sure is. Well, thank you for being on with me today. I appreciate all the great information that you shared. And I'll make sure that I put all of the phone number and email and everything on the video too. And that way that anybody who's listened to us today can reach out to you and get some help. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, Matt. You've been a wonderful help to me. I appreciate it.
You bet.